What's up, brothers? Welcome to the Hope and Talk podcast right here in downtown LA at the Prism Studios.
Yeah.
We're here on Hope Street working the 12 steps of CGA. I'm Ray Shepard. Did 23 years on a 17 to life sentence. I'd like to introduce our crew right here.
My name is Bobby Kimbrough. I did 25 years on 2 life sentences. And I'm a facilitator for Criminals and Gang Members Anonymous.
And a peer specialist. Forgot about that.
He big time. My name is Boanergez, and I did 13 years on a 35 to life sentence. I'm also a co-facilitator here at the Prism for the awesome CGA class that we got here.
Criminals, Gang Members Anonymous.
Yeah.
For those that don't know.
Absolutely. My name is Fred Griffin. I came home last May after serving 16 and a half years on the 30-year sentence I received when I was 16. I'm a peer support specialist, a co-youth mentor, and I also facilitate the post-incarceration support group.
And much, much more.
Yeah.
They'll get to know you as we progress through these episodes. I'd like to introduce Fred today on the second step, man. We're missing him in the first step. You're going to see why we were missing him. I love his knowledge and wisdom. So today we're going to be working step 2 of Criminal Gang Members Anonymous. Bobby, can you please recite the step?
Step 2, came to believe that change is possible by learning a different way of living through suggestions from those who have trudged the path of recovery before us out of insanity.
Come on now.
That's why he's our lead facilitator here
Come
at
on
Prism
now.
Way, because he shoots that from the dome. Like, he lives it.
God
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. So what is step 1 to let our audience know, enlighten them? What is step 2?
What is step 2?
Step
Step
2.
2 is my favorite step. We got a lot of steps, but step 2 is my favorite step because I used to look at the lifestyle that I led as it was no return, right?
Yeah.
But once I seen those that was deeper in the gang and deeper into their addiction, deeper into their lifestyle, harder than me, make that turnaround and start walking that right path
Yep.
and start putting themselves in position to succeed mentally, and then finally get out of prison. It did something to me, right? And the principle in that step is hope, right?
Mhm.
And with hope, I seen so much. I was able to achieve so much because I said, if these people can do it, I can do it. And what made me really be guided by them is because they was lost too. And by them succeeding in capturing themselves back, getting themselves back and prevailing and getting free mentally, it was like, I want that. I didn't see a sad person no more. I didn't see a disgruntled person or a bitter person. I seen a person free while we was on the inside.
You know, that was key, right? Because like I remember when I was first trying to change, right? Before I entered any of the groups, I remember seeing people that I knew before when they were in their lifestyle, right? And then I'm looking at them now, I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
You know, I was wondering, how did he get to that point? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was crazy as hell. You know what I mean? He was in the shoe, putting in work, doped up, selling dope, you name it, right? Running the yard like crazy. And then now I see him like being a leader on the yard, you know, trudging the path, like they say, you know, and like, I think that's key. I think that's who we are today, right?
I literally was just thinking in
Yeah.
my head, like, that's the peer support specialist,
Right.
right? Like, we're trudging the path for the individuals that we're working with, because we're telling them, like, not only have we been where you've been, but we're making it out and we're willing to walk you through it, right?
Right. Showing them what
That
a successful transition looks like, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
You know? Yeah, it was key to me. And like, I still look to you guys, you know? I still learn from you guys, you know? So
For
I think
sure.
that's like a key point. What do you think? How did you work step 2 inside Prism, nurse?
I first got a clear understanding of step 2 when I seen individuals like we said, like that trudged the past before, like, you know, that did the work, you know, that actually was you know, on that path to change. And it was individuals that I was in different prisons with, and then I met with them in Lancaster, and it was like a community individuals that was like, you know, they were all facilitating classes. They was, you know, they was working, they was exercising.
Yeah.
They was trying to eat healthy. They was, you know, they were living a healthy lifestyle. And one thing that stood out to me was that, you know, they had a lot of joy. You know,
Right.
they had a lot
Yeah.
of peace
That's
within
true.
those prison walls. And I couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand how, you know, these individuals had so much time and they was just like walking around with a smile on their face. You know what I mean?
They're basically free already, right?
Yeah, they was already free.
Yeah.
And then that's one thing that, you know, I wanted. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I understood that I was in the prison within myself before I even came to prison.
Come on now.
So I was already locked up. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I wanted that freedom, and they was able to show me what it took in order to attain that freedom. And by that, you know, I was able to implement step 2 within my life change. And then after that, I was the one trudging the path for the individuals coming behind me. And then I was able to show them what change looked like, what peace looked like, what positivity looked like. And ultimately, what mattered was what being yourself looked like. You know what I'm saying? Just being comfortable and being yourself. And especially behind those walls, man, just you know, it's that's one of the hardest things is to, you know, walk around there and be yourself. You know what I mean? You ain't got to live for nobody. You ain't got to put a mask on and live for other people's approval, but just be comfortable to say, man, my name Boanergez, and you know, this how I'm pushing. You know what I mean? So that's how I apply step 2 is just getting it from other individuals, seeing their example, and then actually being the example.
I remember like my first real mentor was Cisco Hernandez, right? He comes to our CGA on Thursday nights, and he's actually a key member of the community. He's a pillar in this community, right? Helps people with their drug addictions, right? But he was one of the first people that I seen trudging that path. He was the first person I ever asked a question on, you know, preparing for board, right? At the time, that's what I was doing, preparing for board. I wasn't tripping on changing. I just wanted to go home.
Right.
Right. At the time, you know, because I haven't worked CGA yet, you know. And I just remember asking him these questions because I wanted what he had in.
Yeah.
But it was like he was speaking a foreign language to me. You know what I mean? Talking about triggers and mindsets and defects and like
skills.
and I'm over here trying to explain them. He's no. He'll ask me he'll ask me a question. He's like, no, go back and come back, get that right. Go think about that, you know, and like I just remember being frustrated. But I still paid attention to his walk. That's what was key, right? I'm like, because I know what he was about before, and I'm watching him be a leader now, and I'm like, dang, it just seemed real foreign to me. Like, how am I gonna get to where he's at? Because everything he's saying, I don't get it. You know?
Yeah.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, and that's dope, right? When you also with step 2, one thing that stood out to me was people's transparency. You know what I'm saying? They being transparent and like what their weaknesses and their flaws and their imperfections. Like, man, I ain't got it all together, but this is like I'm striving.
Yeah.
To be this person that God created me to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To not be able to harm people and, you know, live a life in society that's productive. You know what I'm saying? And going against all the norms of our belief systems and what we was taught. You know what I mean? So just seeing individuals just being transparent and saying like, bro, I ain't got it all together, but I'm pushing. You know what I'm saying?
And that's important.
Yeah.
You know? I hate, I don't know about you guys, but I used to hate, say like sitting in AANA, right? And the lead facilitator, somebody he been sober for 5 years, right? But I just know he just bought some dope earlier on the yard, right? And he's trying to tell me that shit used to go in one ear and out the other. Like I would look, this dude had no credibility with me. So to have someone actually walking the walk, but telling you they ain't perfect, at least admitting like, yeah, I still slip up here and there or whatever. That's key, right? Because I'm still gonna listen to you because you're being honest and you're being human, and I understand. You know, recovery is a process. You know, so like
struggles.
I think that's one of the biggest myths about recovery is that when you make the decision, you can't go backwards. And like one of the biggest things we learned is like our journey is not linear, meaning it's not like a line. You go up, you go down.
Right. Yeah.
And when you have like people in your life that tell you that like, hey man, I went through my phases, it allows you to show yourself grace.
Right.
Because in recovery, like it's a process. We didn't become gang members and drug addicts and criminals overnight, so we're not gonna become citizens overnight.
Yeah, key point.
Straight up.
True. That's why recovery is forever. Even as far as we've gotten today, we're still on this journey together. You know.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of us working together. We're a built-in support network, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I could lean on you guys for anything. You know, and I constantly learn from you guys. So,
dope.
Fred, how do you work step 2 on the streets now that you're free?
You just said it. Support network.
Mm.
I came home like from what we learned inside Arrested Development, right? I was 33, but I was 16 in a lot of areas.
Right.
And so I found myself being afraid to ask questions because I didn't want to look stupid. I felt shame. I felt a little bit of insecurity coming home. But I saw other people who had got out before me, and the way they were living their life was in accordance with the principles that God has given me. So I started asking them, like, hey, how do you deal with this? How do you process this? How do you deal with that? And just watching them navigate, them also being honest and open and saying, hey, when I came home, I struggled. When I got into this situation, it was difficult for me. It helped me realize that it's possible, right? Like one of the things that people don't realize is, me and Bobby, we grew up in the same neighborhood, same experiences. And so watching him every day walk out the steps and run CGA is actually my step 2 because he's quote unquote older or an elder.
OG,
right?
Bobby Love.
Yeah.
OG.
And so I get to
Young
see
OG.
somebody who came from my neighborhood, who experienced the things I experienced, who had the same warped belief system as me, challenge it every single day.
That part
Right.
And that's powerful, man.
And so that's how
Powerful.
I use it today because it's difficult coming home, right?
Yeah.
Post incarceration is real, like just dealing with the mental challenges, but I'm surrounded by people who are trudging the path for me, right?
Right. It's powerful to see someone that came from your same upbringing and watching him walk through it. Especially Bob, man. He's our lead facilitator at the Prism Way.
Yeah.
And he commands the group with his presence and his knowledge and his wisdom
Right.
from a humble standpoint. And I could imagine the people that I used to look up to back in the day walking the path before me. You know what I mean?
For real.
Unfortunately, those people that I looked up ain't trying to do good, but I understand it's the power of someone coming from the same place you grew up,
It's every single day.
same hood, and,
Yeah.
and man, that's powerful, man, just in itself, And you were speaking of post incarceration. We touched on it on the first episode, but so I'm gonna ask you first. I'm gonna ask all of you. This question's for everybody. Why is it still important to work the group now that we're free?
Well, so this conversation is interesting because you have some people who went to CGA to get out of prison. And then you have some people who went to CGA to actually work on themselves to become better human beings, right? And so for me, I fall on the latter. I went to CGA because I wanted to be a better person. I had a release date. I didn't have life. So every group I went to because I realized I was the problem.
Right.
And I feel like if CGA was able to help me navigate prison and become a better person, then it also can help me navigate being out here and staying a better person. I want to maintain the person I am. I didn't come home to find myself. I found myself inside. I have faith. I have relationships. I have a support network. But getting out here, I was afraid of losing myself.
Right.
Death, bills, relationships, fears, all these things. And so for me, CGA is a foundation that I feel God has put in my life to help me navigate. And so for me, it's really important for me to maintain who I am.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I mentioned before, basically like being that, be transitioning from that person to be that example to trudge the path. And it's a lot of people that's, when I was coming home, they was wanting to see if the change is real.
Oh, I got hit with that from left and right, man.
I mean, right off the bat, man, as soon as I got out, they was already testing me and, just temperature checking me to see if, the change was just a prison change.
That's real too.
You know
man.
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and if I was going to bring it out here, and then, once my family, my nephews and everybody started to see that it was real, and this is the life I'm really trudging, it changed their perspective on how they live in their life. And I ain't trying to, change how they live, but all I can do is be an example.
That's right.
Right. And it just do my best as a human being to show them that change is possible. And I keep doing that, because I'm around y'all, my support system, and that's it's necessary for me. Like I said before, that maintenance is necessary. I need it. You know what I mean? Because once your mind is so used to doing one thing, or whatever you feed the most, like if you feed yourself things that's going not be conducive to your change, then you're gonna relapse. You're gonna go back to whatever was comfortable for you.
Right.
But the more you feed, we feeding each other every day. You know what I mean? Like every time we come here, we feeding each other. Every time we go to CGA,
Thanks.
we get a new revelation of what, learning more about ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And when you bringing these things out, it you be able to address issues that you still have you didn't even know just off these conversations. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And we continually getting fed, and that's what is giving us that success out here. You know what I mean?
Right. You touched on something, right? You said example, right? You said people. That's one word you use, but then the thing about challenging if our change is genuine. I went through that. I shared with you guys. I went through that with my brother, right? And today he's like, man, he could see it.
That's right.
And that I think it's our responsibility, since we're lifers, ex-lifers on the street today, trudging the path for our brothers and sisters left behind. I think one of our responsibilities is to be that example, right? Of to do the right thing, and luckily we got CGA to help us maintain that. And so I feel like this post-incarceration syndrome is super real, and it's we're addressing, like we mentioned in the first episode, the trauma of prison.
Yeah.
It's real, man. Like we see it in each other every day. Like sometimes Fred comes in with something that he has heavy on his heart. Sometimes Boanergez, sometimes Bobby, sometimes myself, whatever it is. But it's real, and I learn from what you guys go through too, as if I'm going through, because I have empathy.
Right.
I feel for each and every one of my brothers. So it's a real thing, So I like that you brought up the example, because it's like how we deal with those things is an example to the rest of us.
Straight up.
Right? So what do you think, Bob?
So for me with step 2, it's like both ways, because as we know, once we get to step 12, now we have to be that example. We got to be that person to give back. We have to be a lot of people's step 2. So coming home, and then like I wanted to continue to change. I want to continue to change right now. So it's still a lot of work to be done, and I look to those that been out here before me. All 3 of y'all been out here before me, building credit, staying out the way, dealing with challenges. So y'all my step 2s out here, you know what I'm saying? Then we got how to maintain a household, how to maintain in the workplace, something that I ain't never did, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then also, like y'all said, man, I'm a step 2 for a lot of people that's on their way home, or that just came home.
We're gonna have to make some t-shirts. I'm step 2.
Facts.
Yeah.
Let's put it on the back.
For real.
I'm a walking
step
step
2.
2.
Yeah, those people that's out here, like Fred get inboxes and DMs all the time. Like, man, I love what y'all doing, man.
Yeah.
Those people that was in the mud with us, that's still in the mud, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, man, I love that, man. I'm proud of y'all, man. We have to be that step 2 for them, because one day something gonna click and a person gonna pop up like, man, I want to go to CGA, and it's gonna be so beautiful.
Yeah.
What's the spiritual principle for 2?
Hope.
Yes, sir.
Where we at? Where we at right now?
On 12th and Hope.
Hope at 12th Street.
Ain't no coincidence.
That's why we named it
what I mean?
the podcast Hope and 12th, man.
1150 South Hope Street.
Because literally we're hope for a lot of people, man. Because if we could do it, they could do it, right?
Yeah.
Just like everybody else before us, if they could do it, I could do it.
Yeah.
So that's the mindset we got to carry. Bob, why don't you just hit us with this CGA prayer? Close us out with this prayer.
Okay. Any specific way? You want me to sing it? You want me to rap it? You want me to say it like
Go. What do you guys think? What should we hit him with?
Sing that now.
Oh, the new challenge is to sing that Joker.
No, here we go. God, make me a better person. Teach me to understand people, no matter how big or small they may appear by my estimate. Show me why I've hidden my own defects of character instead of me finding defects in others. Teach me to listen to what people have to say, to answer their questions unselfishly and fairly, or just to simply reply with kindness. Keep me from interrupting people or contradicting them when they speak. Make me as courteous and tolerant to others as I would expect them to be to me. Forbid that I should spread poison gossip. Don't let me laugh at others' mistakes or resort to shame or ridicule when people displease me. May I never punish or condemn others for my own selfish satisfaction or to show I have more power than them. Let me not tempt others to lie, deceive, or harm people, and guide me hour by hour by all I say and do that honesty will produce a stronger character and ultimately happiness. Reduce, I pray, this evilness in me, for it is my greatest enemy. And when I feel out of patience with myself, help me, God, to hold back a vicious tongue. May I ever be mindful that people are people, and I should not impose on them the judgment left for you alone. Let me not rob others of the opportunity to make choices and decisions for themselves. Bless me with the willingness to give when the request is reasonable, and the courage to deny things I know from my experiences can bring harm by any measure. Loan me your wisdom to have pure motives in all my affairs or endeavors, and fit me, God, to be an instrument of love and respect so that others will imitate me. Amen.
Amen. That's why he's our lead facilitator here at the Prism Way.
Yeah.
Nobody does it better than Bobby Kimbrough.
Bobby
Bobby
be on, man.
Bobby
God
Love.
did.
That's Bobby
Yeah.
Love. Bobby
You know
Love
what I
showing love to the audience, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so in closing, man, I'd like to thank you guys once again for another episode. We're here at
Yes,
the
sir.
Prism Way Studios. I'm
Yeah.
Ray Shepherd.
Thank you for
You
your
know,
vision.
Yeah.
That's
It's an honor, man.
me and Brother Fred
Honor
been
to
talking
be here.
about this
Hey,
for
man.
We talked
Straight
about
up.
it.
at least a year and a half before we even got out. We spoke this into existence, you know? So
R&B Fred and Diesel.
The Diesel.
The Diesel.
You know
you
what I
weren't
mean?
supposed to share the audience that. You know?
Yeah.
But that's all right. We know our
Yeah.
secrets here.
It's all
Um,
good.
Wait,
You know what I mean?
since we have everybody else's nickname, what's Boanergez's?
Swag. Chat.
The swag.
The swag
Razzle
champ.
dazzle.
I tried, man. Bobby
got
took
video
that
now.
name, though.
That's
He took
Razzle
it from me.
dazzle.
He's
Nah,
like,
Bobby
champ.
been on it.
Razzle
man.
dazzle.
Yeah,
You know,
so
You gotta,
we
you
here
gotta
on-
dazzle him
we
sometimes.
here on Hope Street working
Yeah.
the 12 steps.
Off top.
And the Prism Way is just a place for hope, healing, and restoration. Thank you, brothers, for another great episode.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Absolutely.